Today's video looks at how we use the algorithm or pen and paper method to subtract whole and decimal numbers. Let's start with the simplest form, and we'll use the problem 986 minus 543. First step is to rewrite our problem vertically with the greatest number at the top. So 986 minus, there's the sign that tells us what operation we're performing, minus 543. As with addition algorithms, we turn our attention first to the numbers in the ones column. We have 6 minus 3 equals 3, so that 3 will be recorded in the ones column. Looking now at the tens column, we have 8 tens and we take away 4 of those tens, leaves us with another 4 in the tens column. And finally, looking at the hundreds, we have 9 of those minus 5, leaves us with 4 to be recorded in the hundreds column. Moving on now to a decimal version of the same sort of thing, we have 157.89 minus 36.74. Rewriting this vertically, we put the number of the greatest value on top, and then we line up so that all numbers with the same place value are in alignment. And I guess one of the easiest ways to do this, to ensure that we do this correctly, is to put the decimal point immediately below the other. Then it's a simple matter of 36 and 0.74. Here's our equals line. Looking first at the numbers of least place value, we're looking at the hundredths. I have 9 hundredths, take away 4 hundredths, leaves me with 5 of those hundredths. Moving now to the tenths, 8 tenths, take away 7 tenths is 1 tenth. Now my decimal point lined up with the 2 above. 7 ones, take away 6 ones, leaves us with 1 in the ones column. 5 tens, take away 3 tens, leaves us with 2 in the tens column, and 100, take away nothing, we record the 1 in the hundreds column. So that's how we handle whole number and decimal subtractions using the algorithm, where no renaming or decomposition is required. Let's move now to subtraction sums where the top number does not allow us enough to take away as many as we're asked to take. So let's see what that means. 932 minus 65, so looking at 654 rather, so we're looking at a whole number subtraction first. I'm going to record it with the larger number on top, 932 minus 654. One thing I'm going to say to you is that if you're asked, as we are with our ones, to take away 4 when we only have 2 to take them away from, you have to resist the urge to flip it round and say, what's 4 take away 2? This problem is asking you, what is 2 take away 4? So let's see how we can make this possible. I'm going to move to my tens column and take one of those 3 tens, leaving 2 there. And the 1 10 that I have taken, I'm going to rename as 10 ones, and I'm going to add it to the 2 ones that I already had there. So that now gives me 12 ones, from which I can take away 4 of them to give me 8, which I record in the ones column. Now that I've dealt with my ones, my attention goes to the tens, and you can see that I have the 2 tens take away 5. Once again, I can't do that without going to the next column up, which is my hundreds, and taking one of those 900s, leaving me with 800s. The 100 that I have taken, I'm going to rename as 10 tens. And together with the 2 tens that I already have there, I now have 12 tens, from which it is possible to take away 5, leaving me with 7 in my tens column. Now the last step sees me looking at my 800s, from which I must take away 600s, leaving me with 200s to record in the hundreds column. So there I have my answer. 932 minus 654 equals 278. Let's look now at a decimal subtraction problem. 125.64 minus 97.78. Recording that vertically, 125.64 minus, once again my decimal points aligned, I have 97, lining up my numbers with the same place value. Right, looking at my hundredths, I have 4 hundredths from which I need to take away 8. I can't do that without renaming one of these tenths. So I'm taking away one of the 6, leaving 5 tenths there. And I'm going to rename the 1 tenth that I took away as 10 100ths, which I add to the 4 hundredths already there. So now I have 14 hundredths, and I can take away 8 of them, leaving 6. Moving on to my tenths column, I have 5, but I'm required to take away 7. So again, I'm going to need to go to my ones column this time, take one of those 5 ones, leaving 4, and the 1 that I've taken I'm going to rename as 10 tenths, to which I add the 5 that I already had there. That gives me 15 tenths, from which I can take away 7 tenths, leaving me with 8 tenths. In goes my decimal point aligned with the others, and we look at the ones now. 4 take away 7, I can't manage without going to my tens column and taking one of the 2 tens there, which leaves me with 1. And I rename the 1 10 that I've taken as 10 ones. I already have 4 ones there, so now in total I have 14 ones, from which I can take 7, leaving me with 7 in the ones column. In my tens column I have 1, from which I need to take 9. I can't do that, so I would take my 100, leaving no hundreds there. It's a bit mucky, and I rename it as 10 tens, to which I add the 1 that I already had, leaving me with 11 tens. Take away 9 is 2 in the tens column. So there I have my final answer after a lot of renaming. 125.64 minus 97.78 equals 27.86.